Welcome back, everyone. Today's explainer is a really fun one. Seriously, if you've ever found yourself totally frustrated by conversational English, feeling like you understand every individual word, but the actual phrases just completely fly over your head, well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're diving into a wildly powerful spatial memory technique. We're going to use it to absolutely master a dense, idiom-packed conversation without any of that boring rote memorization. It's time to completely rethink how our brains store language. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan for the explainer. We'll kick things off with Nicole for president, plunge right into the complete conversation, and then map out the election bedroom journey. After that, we'll start visualizing the idioms, look at sealing the deal, and finally, build your memory palace. Now, quick heads up, the conversation part is fast and packed with slang. Don't panic if you don't catch every single phrase right away, because we're going to break the whole thing down together.
All right, part one, Nicole for president.
So our scenario revolves around a high-stakes student body election. We've got Nicole, who is fiercely ambitious, and Ted, her rather skeptical classmate. To set the stage, let's just listen to Nicole's opening declaration. She says, "I've decided to run for student body president. If I'm going to become a senator one day, I should get some experience under my belt now." Notice that? She isn't just looking at the school election, she's eyeing a lifelong career. And she's already dropping our first idiom to describe gaining that necessary experience.
Moving right along to Section 2, the complete conversation.
We are going to plunge straight into their raw dialogue right now, just to totally immerse ourselves. See how many unique phrases you can spot. Ted starts it off. Andrea Jenkins is also running. She'll give you a run for your money. Nicole shoots back. Andrea Jenkins is an idiot. I'm by far the better candidate. Ted warns her. Don't be so full of yourself. I might vote for Andrea. And Nicole instantly shifts gears. Stop kidding around. Let's get down to business. I need your help.
Ted is pretty surprised by this. You want me to help you? Nicole replies, yes. I need you to talk your friends into voting for me. Ted pushes back immediately. But you never give my friends the time of day. All you give them is the cold shoulder. Nicole defends herself, saying that's because they've got blue hair and nose rings.
Ted fires right back at her. They're better than your friends. A bunch of goody-goodies and brown-nosers. Nicole pivots quickly. That's beside the point. Let's talk about your friends and their votes. Ted finally names his price. He says, okay, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. If you do my chemistry homework, I'll help you get the votes. Nicole hesitates for a second. I'm not crazy about that idea, but okay, it's a deal. I hope I can count on you.
Okay, wow, that was an absolute whirlwind. I mean, just think about the sheer density of the English idioms packed into that tiny little exchange. We had under my belt, run for your money, full of yourself, cold shoulder, brown nosers, scratch my back. Honestly, it's completely overwhelming for any learner. So here's the million-dollar question. How do we actually remember all those complex, abstract phrases without just staring mindlessly at a vocabulary list for hours on end?
Which brings us to Section 3, the election bedroom journey.
To lock all of this in, we are going to use the famously powerful memory palace technique. Instead of fighting with abstract words on a page, I want you to mentally walk into Nicole's bedroom with me right now. We're using spatial linking and massive cartoonish exaggeration. As you step in, notice the door to your right. Got it? Now look down at the floor. Next, gaze across the room to the window. And finally, glance at the full-length mirror. Boom! We have our first 4 physical anchor points.
And that takes us to Section 4, visualizing the idioms.
All right, this is where the magic of dual coding really happens. We are going to link these hard-to-remember idioms to highly exaggerated physical items. Let's start at the door. Remember Nicole wanted experience under my belt? Picture a belt hanging on the back of the door, but it's not normal. It is the size of a giant, thick leather snake, and literally tucked underneath it are these glowing golden experience certificates. You are never going to forget under my belt when you picture something that crazy.
Now move your eyes down to the floor of the bedroom. Ted told Nicole that Andrea would give you a run for your money. Imagine a giant, bright golden sneaker down there on the rug. It's actually alive, and it's frantically sprinting back and forth across the floor, literally chasing a rolling mountain of gold coins. A run for your money? It's vivid, it's loud, and it absolutely sticks in your brain.
Next up, let's combine the window and the mirror. Nicole says she's by far the best candidate. Look out her window and picture this giant, comical telescope stretching incredibly far into the distance, magnifying her success. But wait, turn to the mirror. Ted said she was full of yourself.
Imagine Nicole's reflection in that mirror is so incredibly bloated, huge, and arrogant that it is physically pushing the glass out of the frame and shattering it.
Moving over to the bedside lamp. Ted accused Nicole of giving his friends the cold shoulder, which means ignoring them. Picture the lamp on the nightstand. But instead of a normal lampshade, it's wearing a giant, frozen, severed human shoulder. I know, it's gross, but it's glowing with blue ice, frost is dripping off it, and it's physically turned away from you, just radiating freezing air. You can practically feel the chill of the cold shoulder.
Let's connect the desk area now. Forget down to business, vividly imagine Nicole standing up on her top bunk bed and literally diving down, head first, onto her desk where a super serious corporate briefcase is waiting. And what about the bookshelf right above the desk? Her friends are brown-nosers. You know, people who try too hard to flatter the teacher. Imagine the books tumbling off the shelf. They have actual human noses on the spines, and those noses are turning a disgusting brown color as they desperately try to sniff the teacher's desk.
Now, look up at the ceiling fan to see just how extreme this imagery can get. Nicole said Ted's complaint was beside the point. Picture that ceiling fan spinning at absolute top speed. Taped to one of the blades is a giant glowing red X, and as it flies around and around, the fan itself is screaming at the top of its lungs. That's beside the point. It's totally bizarre, right? But that's exactly why your brain will remember it.
All right, Section 5, Sealing the Deal.
We've only got a few corners of the bedroom left to lock down the rest of our vocabulary. Remember, Ted proposes a reciprocal deal. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Look at the music poster on Nicole's wall. Suddenly, the paper just violently rips open. Two monstrous hands with razor-sharp claws burst out, frantically scratching each other's backs and sending literal sparks flying across the room. It perfectly locks this complex idea of mutual favors right into your spatial memory.
Now, Nicole wasn't exactly crazy about the idea. For that, you could picture a toy chest overflowing with tiny, vibrating, glowing hearts. But ultimately, she agrees and says, it's a deal. Look down at the center rug. Imagine a giant, human-sized paper legal contract tap dancing on the rug, and it has two arms that are vigorously shaking hands with itself.
Finally, Nicole ends the whole conversation by saying, I hope I can count on you, meaning she hopes she can really rely on him. Let's finish our bedroom tour here. Walk over to the closet and just throw open the door. But it isn't filled with clothes. No, it is absolutely overflowing with thousands of old-school math counters, giant calculators, and wooden abacuses, all loudly clicking and clacking away as they literally add up the votes for Nicole. You are physically counting on them.
And that brings us to our final section, Build Your Memory Palace. Think about what we just did. We navigated a complex web of native-level English phrasing with zero stress, completely bypassing boring rote memorization. Let's quickly recap the golden rule so you can use this yourself. First, you've got to link abstract idioms to concrete physical objects. Second, map out a highly structured spatial geography, like a room you know well. Third, always exaggerate the visual associations, make them weird. And fourth, transform your own personal space to retain any complex topic you encounter.
You now possess the blueprint to decode and retain complex language effortlessly. So I'm going to leave you with this thought as we wrap up today's explainer. Look around the room you are sitting in right this very second. What other confusing English idioms can you vividly hide in your own bedroom? The possibilities for your memory are literally endless. Thanks so much for learning with us today and keep building those memory palaces.